Welcome to your weekly news roundup. Each week we run through the top property and tech news stories for those in PropTech and the housing sector. This week we look into the UK Prime Minister's planning revolution and how is the UK government's Overseas Development Bank ending its financing of the fossil fuel sector. Let's jump into our first story. This week, Boris Johnson unveiled what he called the biggest planning revolution since the Second World War. He has promised to turn the coronavirus crisis into an opportunity to reshape Britain. Overall, the government intends to spend £640 billion over the next 5 years in a new deal to restore the economy. The new wide-ranging deal aims to improve project approval speeds, affordable housing availability, transport, infrastructure and further spending on scientific research and development. Boris Johnson and his cabinet are coming under increasing pressure to ensure economic stimulus helps to shift the UK to a low-carbon future. Prince Charles has been active on this move to a low-carbon future by meeting with businesses alongside the World Economic Forum, urging companies and governments to put in place a green recovery. He said, "As we move from rescue to recovery during the pandemic, we have a unique but rapidly shrinking window of opportunity to learn lessons and reset ourselves on a more sustainable path." At Etopia, we have always felt the need to provide affordable homes that can be constructed at speed. However, the traditional planning and approval systems in place cannot keep up with current demand. So it's encouraging to see new strategies from the government that can help overcome these barriers, as well as boosting the scientific development sector in the UK in line with the mission to reach net zero CO2 emissions by 2050. As usual, now we pass the issue off to you. What are your thoughts on this? Next up, the UK government's Overseas Development Bank has bowed to calls to end fossil fuel financing abroad by promising to invest only in companies that align with the Paris Climate Agreement. This comes after campaigners revealed that more than £3 billion of public money was used to support polluting projects abroad since the Paris Climate Agreement was signed. The CDC Group's new climate strategy will place a climate lens over every sector in which it invests to make sure companies are reducing emissions. However, some have argued that the social and economic benefits of modest fossil fuel investments in areas in need of economic growth, increased energy access, and improved living standards would outweigh the incremental increase in emissions produced. So, as this story progressed, we saw the bank will allow only rare investments in gas power plants to support the UN's Sustainable Development Goals, and only in countries that can prove the project is aligned with a wider climate transition plan. At Etopia, we've always made it our mission to align with positive world-changing legislation such as the Paris Climate Change Agreement and on a larger level, the UN Sustainability Goals. We feel like campaigners are right to force a global imperative for investment to be transferred into the development of the new green economy. And if you want to find out more about how our homes fit into this new green economy, head over to projectetopia.com. And as always, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And in global news, we saw China turn on the world's largest floating solar farm capable of generating over 40 megawatts of power. Whilst in the UK, another wind farm project has been approved, this one located just off the Norfolk coast, capable of generating 1.8 gigawatts. So take that, China. And unfortunately, we must all go another weekend without pubs, which have been delayed in reopening on Super Saturday amid fears of alcohol-fueled mayhem breaking out. Anyway, that's all for this week. Check out our socials for more news updates and head over to projectetopia.com to find out more about what we do. This has been your weekly news roundup. See you next week for more updates.